Amazon Prime is now believed to be the top prospect for Monday Night Raw to be moving over to the Amazon streaming network, which has everybody in a tizzy. Everybody's upset about this. It's funny, by the way, how all of a sudden everybody forgot about the Warner Brothers Discovery. Oh, they're going to Warner Brothers Discovery. They're going to steal WBD from AEW. Yeah, it's not going to happen. Ben said that that's not going to happen. And now all of a sudden, just as confident as everybody was about Raw going to WBD, now everybody's so confident that Raw is going to go to Amazon. Why don't we just wait and see where it actually ends up instead of everybody just deciding where they think it's going to end up? But people seem to be kind of pissy about this because it's not on real TV. It's moving to streaming. And this is scary for people. It's scary. Oh no, the big scary streaming service. One of these people getting into this was, it was Brian Alvarez and his buddy over on Wrestling Observer Radio. And they were having a conversation about this exact situation. Raw moving to Amazon Prime and the ramifications of the top wrestling show, or maybe number 2 wrestling show, depending if SmackDown, you want to say they're number 1 now, whatever, moving to a streaming platform, an over-the-top platform, and not national TV. Check out this clip.
But they did have that playoff game on Peacock, which did allegedly 23 million viewers and was said to be the most streamed event in all of history. That's what they said. That's what they said.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. It's just a silly, stupid move. One that benefited wrestling fans who only have Peacock to watch WWE. I guess if they're also NFL fans, they scored one there. But a completely ridiculous thing to do in a lot of ways for a lot of different reasons for me to go ahead and do that. 20 million people. Imagine what it could have been if everybody got a chance to see it. This is what I worry about when it comes to wrestling being on these streaming services when it gets right down to it. Is it really going to be beneficial at this juncture? Because I can see in the future, again, things changing, things consolidating, and this being regular television. But we are not there yet. And I'm very interested if, say, WWE goes on to WBD and Tony's got to look elsewhere to do things, or say Raw gets picked up and is put on Amazon, how much that's really going to affect things. A lot of people have their opinions both ways, but
Brother,
we really don't know what it's going to be.
It doesn't matter one bit. If Raw on Peacock or on Amazon Prime, if they get like 50,000 viewers a week, it don't matter. Because
Brian?
I'm going to tell you why. Because do you know how much they're going to make from Amazon Prime?
But here's the thing.
They'll probably make $1 billion.
What about the next time, though?
Well,
what about the next deal then when you don't have that chip of Raw because it's been so badly damaged at that
They
point?
have SmackDown on USA, and they have NXT on everyone's favorite network, the C-Dub.
Yeah.
So they can sacrifice Raw to Amazon Prime to make, it's going to be a ridiculous ridiculous amount of money.
And they're going to have to, because you see how the market responded to TKO and what they think about TKO right now after the last deal. So I can see them going for that money. But I wonder if it's, again, we'll find out if that's a short-term decision that ends up burning them a little bit a couple of years later.
So I'm not going to pretend to know with any kind of certainty if Raw is going to end up on any particular network or not, other than I don't believe they're going to be on Warner Brothers Discovery. So we won't play that game, when we find out where they end up, well, then we'll address where they end up. But I do want to kind of play out what it would look like if they did go to streaming, because this seems to get a few people uncomfortable. Not just, from the clip that we just listened to, but, this seems to be even that football game. Remember, there was recently and I'm not a sports ball guy, so I don't even know what teams they were or anything. But apparently there was a playoff game that ended up moving to Peacock for whatever reason. And there were a lot of people pissy about that, even though it became the highest viewed streaming thing ever, basically. Right? Had like 20 million people supposedly had watched this on streaming. But yeah, it pissed a lot of people off that would rather sit in front of their couch and watch it on fucking ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, your whatever the hell, ESPN, Sunday night ticket. I don't fucking know. Whatever sports ball plays on. People would rather watch it there. So what if it did move to streaming? What if? I think, guys, this is the way of the world. I think we need to accept this. People that are still holding on tightly to their network TV, why? Let's ask why. Let's sit back and why do you even pay for TV? If you pay for cable at this point, why? Probably because you're into sports balls, right? You watch the live games, and you can watch the live games on national TV. And then if you're a wrestling fan, then you also got, your wrestling shows that you watch live as well, or you DVR them or whatever the fuck you do. But that's it, right? There's literally nothing else on live TV that's worth watching other than sports ball and wrestling. Everything else, you can find it on streaming, or you can watch it the next day anyway on fucking wherever else. Like, everything is on streaming anyway at this point. The only reason you should have a problem with Raw going to Amazon is because you don't pay for Amazon Prime yet, like me. I mean, people that want to cut the cable and get away from the cable, they do it to save money. So you don't want to sign up for 37 different streaming platforms, or you're going to end up paying the same amount you were in cable anyway. But this is the route that the world is going. And WWE especially are trendsetters in this. It was funny when TKO bought, or when Endeavor bought WWE, and then they started TKO, and Ari Emanuel did that interview with the mustachioed Vince McMahon. He's like, are you kidding? I would have demanded that Vince stayed on. He's a trendsetter. He's ahead of the thing. He was right. Vince is ahead of the business, ahead of the trends in most things. And I wouldn't be surprised if Vince McMahon was one of the top people pushing this at this point. If he's not involved, I don't know what his role actually is. I think he's probably just a figurehead statue at this point, as he's the chairman of the board still for TKO. But that might just be a figurehead position. But regardless, off topic here. WWE has traditionally always been forward thinking that way. When they came out with the WWE Network, they came out with the WWE Network before anybody had anything. There was Netflix, and there was maybe Hulu, and then there was the WWE Network. They had one before Disney had one, before Peacock had one, before Max had one. They had one before there was any kind of, ESPN, NFL Sunday ticket. Maybe not that, but probably. I think WWE, to bring the WWE Network to streaming, to have their own streaming platform, was so forward thinking. This happened in what? 2013? 2013, or was it 16 maybe? It was early. It was very early in the game, where a lot of people called him out like, what are you doing? They were forward thinking. They knew that this was the future. Long before it became the future, long before everybody else figured it out, long before it became the norm, they figured it out. So I don't put it past the WWE to do the exact same thing here. Monday Night Raw has been a staple of network television. Or not, network television. It's been a staple of your TV set for 30 fucking years, 35 years, whatever. Monday Night Raw has been on national television. However, nobody watches television anymore, and the only reason people do watch television is for the sports ball and the live shit anyway. Everything else can be found on streaming. The girls out there that like your true crime stories and all of that's on streaming now. You can watch it all, right? There's literally no reason to watch TV unless it's for live product. What happens when live moves to a streaming? We saw NFL dip their toe into it with this playoff game on Peacock. Now WWE is entertaining, at the very least, an option to move their TV show that's been on national TV for 30 years to a streaming platform. Oh my God. Now this sounds crazy right now, but as they said in that clip from The Observer, whoa, what happens, when you sign this deal for 3 or 5 years, and then after that, what if you try to sign a new deal and you get back on national TV and now you haven't been on national TV? Let me tell you something, brother. In 3 to 5 years, Nobody's going to watch TV anymore. You think TV's even going to be a thing? With the NFL now dipping their toe into streaming, and it was that successful, the most successful live stream ever on a over-the-top platform. More people watch that than ever, tuned in for a WrestleMania or anything like that. Proof of concept, buddy. 3 to 5 years, I promise you, there's going to be lots of NFL games, NHL, all that shit's going to be on streaming. Maybe it'll be on real TV too, but it's going to find its way to your streaming platforms. And I think with WWE, if as forward thinking as they always are, as ahead of the curve as they always are in the media and the entertainment business, I think if they move a Monday Night Raw to streaming right now, yes, it will be an initial blow. Less people will be watching Raw than would traditionally have watched Raw. But as as was also said in that clip on The Observer by Alvarez, you still have SmackDown on national TV. You still have NXT on national TV. So you're not moving away from that altogether. And even though Raw is such a household name and has been around so long, it's not a horrible idea to take one of your 3 brands and test the waters on a streaming service. Because in 3 to 5 years, a lot more people, a lot more sports content, a lot more live sports content, all this shit's going to find its way onto streaming because that is the way of the future. Nobody's going to have real TV anymore. Once the live sports start dipping in, that was their first, and there's a lot of outrage about it because people couldn't watch it on their TVs. Okay, we'll give it 3 to 5 years. It was the same thing about WWE back in the day with the WWE Network. I don't want to watch it on streaming. I want to watch it on my pay-per-view, God damn it. And a lot of people still stubbornly bought the pay-per-views because that's what they were used to, and that's how they wanted to watch the shit. I don't know how to use no internet, sign up for an app. Jesus. And I get that, but now look where we are. Most of those people have Netflix and have the WWE Network and all that stuff. So in 3 to 5 years, WWE moves to Raw now, signs a 5-year contract. In 5 years, we're looking at an entire, especially with how fast things move in media. I mean, 5 years, dude, it's going to be a completely different industry where TV is going to be dying. These TV networks are going to be dying. It's going to be all about streaming. Everything's going to be online. And WWE will once again have been at the forefront, ahead of the times, where now their trademark flagship show has been established on streaming for 5 years, ahead of the curve of fucking NFL even. When all the sports ball teams start moving over to streaming, guess what? Raw will have already been there, had their flag planted. And, at that point, they'll probably be looking to move NXT and SmackDown or other stuff off of national TV. Maybe not. Maybe that timeline's a little too expedited still. Maybe it'll be a slower transition. But we're there. We're getting there. With the NFL moving games to Peacock, that's it. That's game over. It's done now. We're going to see more of that. You're going to see more of that next year. I wouldn't be surprised if you see the Super Bowl on a streaming within the next 5 years. They try to spread it out to the networks for their TV deals, right? Like all the different networks that NFL has their TV deals with. Fox will get the Super Bowl one year, and then ABC will get it, and then NBC or whatever. What if their streaming services want to pick up the Super Bowl? What if Fox, what if NBC, right? They have the Peacock, right? What if they decide, what if we, instead of putting the Super Bowl on NBC, what if we put the Super Bowl on Peacock? What if? Less people are going to watch it initially, but it's going to get a lot of fucking signups. And if you continue that for 3 years, 5 years, it'll just become the normal. People will be used to it. In 10 years, especially, in 10 years, it's a done deal. In 10 years, everything's going to be streaming. There will be no TV. TV will be dead. TV will be dead. It's dead now. The only thing propping it up is live sports and wrestling and that kind of stuff. That's why wrestling does so well, because people watch it live. What if it's not on TV anymore? What if it's on a streaming network? Eventually, people will move over to streaming. The people, the holdouts, people that still, I want my TV every day. I want my TV, my NBC, ABC, CBS. I'm on it. That's just my 2 cents, though. I mean, look, this is a tech world. Everything's moving that direction. I just don't see linear television working anymore. It just doesn't work. And for the NFL to get 20 million people watching a playoff game on Peacock live, that's it. That's the game changer. So yeah, Monday Night Raw, if they end up on Amazon Prime, yes, it'll make me sign up for Amazon Prime because I don't have it yet, but I'll sign up for it or use, my mom's login or some shit like that and watch me some Monday Night Raw there. And by the time their 5-year deal is up, everybody now that's saying, oh, this is, it's blah, blah, blah. All the naysayers, all the haters, all the people complaining about it, after 5 years of it being on streaming, it'll be just an everyday thing. This will just be the norm. It'll just be old hat at that point. Same with the WWE Network, right? People only hung on to their traditional pay-per-view for so long. I think Jim Cornette probably still does, but he's one of the few, right? People only did that for so long. And then they're like, yeah, okay, fine, I'll bite on this WWE Network thing. Because times change. Eventually, people, look, man, at some point, TV came into existence. And everybody that listened to shows on the radio were like, I don't want to watch that TV shit. I want to listen to my shows on the radio, my stories, my serials on the radio. And then when the internet came around, the goddamn dang-fangled internet, I'm just going to watch my TV. And there's still people hanging on to that. It's just, it's going away. So we'll leave it there. I'm kind of repeating myself now, but it's going to be interesting. It's a changing business. And, WWE, the overall point of this is that WWE has always, since the 80s, been at the forefront of cutting edge technology and being the firsts to venture out and do it. They were the first to dip into national television. They were the first to dip into pay-per-views. They were the first to everything they did was outside of the norm, was experimental, was trying to advance, looking forward. What does the future look like? And this is no different. Moving a show to a streaming service will undoubtedly get a lot of negativity and a lot of people bitching about it at first. By the time that TV deal is done, it will be the norm. And that's what everybody else will be doing too, including football leagues. But that's just me. Leagues? Did I say leagues? The football league, NFL, XFL. Nobody cares about that shit. But that's just my thoughts. What do you think? Are you one of those holdouts? Are you pissed that NFL tried to do a streaming game? Are you pissed that WWE would move Raw off national television to a streaming network? Or are you like, yeah, of course, this is the future. This is the way things are inevitably going to go. And WWE, as always, at the forefront, the trendsetter, blazing the trail to these future media deals and the future of media. WWE's always been at the forefront of it, and this is no different. Let me know your thoughts down below. Peace, love, and pizza. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next. Yeah. Let me tell you something, brother. You can check out full episodes each and every Sunday right here on this channel, dude. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to take your vitamins and say your prayers, brother.